Welcome to the Dogs Podcast with your hosts, Blake Reneker, Justin Charles, and Josh All.
Hey, what's up, Browns fans? Welcome back to another episode of the Dogs Podcast. Josh All, your host today. Happy Thanksgiving week to everybody out there. It's a great time of year. We got football all day on Thursday, followed up by the Browns on Sunday. Can't really skip over, though, the Ohio State-Michigan game on Saturday. This is just a fantastic week in general. You get the holiday, you get great food. If you're like me, you have 3 Thanksgivings to plan for and to put on quite a few extra pounds. And then, of course, all the great football. The Thursday slate for the NFL is excellent. And like I said, the big rivalry game, the game on Saturday at noon. And then, of course, Shedeur Sanders getting his first start at home in Cleveland on Sunday against the 49ers. We're going to talk about that a lot today, plus some other things that came out since the game on Sunday in Vegas. The only thing that I'm still really trying to figure out 2 days later from the game is I still don't know what Jerry Jeudy was doing on that play when he fumbled. He was just trying to just stop and jump, or I have no idea. We have no idea. I'm sure you guys have no idea. It is a mystery. Jerry Jeudy is kind of just... We need some wide receivers in here in the worst way. We'll talk about that too a little bit. But before I dive into everything, make sure you guys go to jointhedogs.com if you want to be part of or become an official Dog Pack member. Sign up on the Patreon page, become a member, sync up with the private Discord, get into our Dog Pack Discord live episodes that we do every Thursday at 5 p.m. Eastern to preview the upcoming game for the week. Now, this week is different, of course, because Thursday is Thanksgiving, so I will not be doing a Discord live on Thursday because, well, I got Thanksgiving, and you guys do too. So it will be tomorrow, Wednesday. This is the only week we're going to change it up. Wednesday, tomorrow, 5 p.m. Eastern, Dog Pack Discord Live. We'll preview the Browns and 49ers on Sunday. So that's jointhedogs.com. And I wanted to mention this because I broke this out finally today. I was waiting and waiting to wear this shirt for whenever Shedeur Sanders was finally going to be the starting quarterback for the Browns. This is our, if you don't want to spend all the money to buy a jersey, because let's face it, those things are very expensive, from the team shop, we've got jersey shirts available on our merch store. That's thedogspodcast.com/shop. And you can go there, get a Shedeur Sanders jersey shirt. It's got Sanders and 12 on the back and everything. Plus, we've got a legendary shirt on there. And there is also a Shedeur by the Shore shirt on there. And I'm sure we'll come up with more the longer he maintains this starting spot and hopefully shows us all that he can be at least the short-term future for the Cleveland Browns, if not the long-term. So let's talk about that. Kevin Stefanski came out yesterday, Monday, the day after the game. Now, we were talking Sunday night that we might not find out who's going to start against the 49ers until Wednesday. Blake thought maybe we won't find out until the weekend. He was more on the side of, keep that information private and don't share it, so that way the 49ers have to prepare for both quarterbacks. My pushback was that really only works when you've got 2 quarterbacks that are worth preparing for. We don't. We have one, and it's Shedeur. Dillon Gabriel, you don't really have to prepare. You just take away the run game, and he's not going to beat you through the air at all. So really no competitive advantage from my perspective, in my opinion, on trying to keep that hidden. But he did come out yesterday and say, much to... if you guys watch the show, it was a surprise to me because I said for weeks, the last week and a half or so since Dillon went out with a concussion that, over Kevin's dead body, is he going to, whenever Dillon's healthy, bench him and then start Shedeur Sanders? But I've got a feeling, and this is, I have no information, no reporting, no evidence of this or what anything. I'm just speculation on my part. But I got a feeling there was a conversation had between Andrew Berry and Kevin Stefanski. Because Shedeur Sanders, regardless of whatever stat you're looking at, and I got a specific stat I want to talk about here in a minute, regardless of whatever stat you're looking at, Shedeur Sanders was obviously the better quarterback between him and Dillon Gabriel. There's no going back now. So Kevin Stefanski said Shedeur Sanders will be the starter Sunday against the 49ers, which means Dillon Gabriel has been benched because he has cleared concussion protocol. He is available. He is available. He could start Sunday if the Browns wanted him to start, but they're not. They are moving forward with Shedeur Sanders. So, to me, this says Dillon has been benched. These last 6 games belong to Shedeur Sanders. Barring injury, there's no reason he should even be considered for a bench. Like Dillon Gabriel, done. We are done. Okay? That is over. And I wanted to talk about this a little bit. So we go all the way back to the draft. And Dillon Gabriel, late 3rd round pick. Shedeur Sanders, 5th round pick. Right out of the gate, Dillon Gabriel working with the first team. He's the first quarterback taking reps in like rookie minicamp and stuff when it's just the rookies. And that, okay, fine. That made sense. He was obviously the first quarterback drafted. So he kind of gets those first opportunities. Okay, fine. And then all the reports come out from rookie minicamp, veteran minicamp, OTAs, that Dillon Gabriel doesn't really look that much like an NFL quarterback. Shedeur Sanders is having some nice throws, making some nice plays, that kind of stuff. Those are the reports in general. And then we get all training camp, all preseason. And who's working in with the first team and the ones every single day at practice? Dillon Gabriel, who took 0 reps whatsoever with the first team at any point before last week. It was Shedeur Sanders. So it's just interesting to me that Dillon Gabriel was the guy getting all the opportunities. And at some point, I mean, Kevin Stefanski, it is a question for me. What did you see in practice on the field that told you, I'm sticking with Dillon Gabriel? He's going to be the one getting these opportunities. He will be the one to start games this season over Shedeur Sanders, because the sideline reporters all said opposite. They all said, if one of these guys should start games, it's Shedeur. Dillon Gabriel was not looking too great. There was, was it Darryl Ryder or Zach Jackson? They were both really hot on the Dillon Gabriel doesn't look good train over the summer. One of them, I remember saying that even in warm-ups, like even in individual warm-up period, Dillon Gabriel looked rough. And I remember that point in the summer thinking, how do you look rough in an individual warm-up? You're just throwing the ball to guys on routes. But anyway, we saw it play out on the field. They were right. So now we get to move forward with Shedeur Sanders, and there should be no leash. I think that was my long-winded way of saying there should be no leash for Shedeur Sanders the rest of the season. And there are going to be ups and there's going to be downs. There are going to be some really fantastic plays. We saw several on Sunday. Several. The 52-yard bomb down the field to Isaiah Bond, bomb to Bond. Hey, I kind of like that. Maybe I'll make a shirt that says the bomb to Bond. I need to write that down. Anyway, and then the 39-yard pass to Jerry Jeudy, where he bought all kinds of time rolling out to his right, creating some separation, evading the pressure, and then just waiting for his guy. And Jerry Jeudy came wide open because Shedeur was able to create and have his pocket awareness to move the play that way and give Jeudy time to get open. Jeudy, just hold on to the ball. What are you doing? Anyway. And then, plays to Harold Fannin, and just there were moments that Shedeur Sanders showed, okay, this is a guy 100% worth rolling with and seeing what we've got. There's going to be some really bad plays. I'm just telling you. There are going to be some ugly moments for Shedeur Sanders coming up over the back half of the year because he's a rookie. He is a rookie. I've watched Cam Ward this year, the number 1 overall pick. It ain't been pretty. There have been moments that it's like, wow, that's why he went number 1 overall. But there have been a lot more moments where it's like, ooh, this guy needs a lot more experience. And that's fair. It's not so much an indictment on them. It's just the way it is. These guys are rookies. These guys are young. They have no experience in the NFL. They're learning on the fly. It's really hard to expect any rookie quarterback to come into the NFL and just be great right off the rip. It just doesn't happen, especially whenever you're being drafted high in the draft to one of these awful teams. The awful teams pick early because they don't have a quarterback. That's why Tennessee's so bad, and that's why Cam Ward's having such a rough go. But he's learning. He's learning, and that's another reason why I don't want to draft a rookie quarterback next year. I don't want the growing pains and another season of growing pains, another season of learning and developing and working out the kinks, and then we'll worry about maybe he'll be ready to to play a little better in 2027. No, let's do that now. Let's do that now with Shedeur. Let's get him out there and work out the kinks. Let him have his bumps and bruises because he has clearly already shown that he's worth investing in. He's worth it. 100% worth it. So that's where I'm at, man. I want to just continue with him. The next 6 games are all him. I don't care what it looks like. I don't care how it plays out. We obviously, winning games at this point doesn't matter. Just be competitive. Be competitive. Learn what you can do and what you cannot do on an NFL field. That's what these games are for, because I'm telling you guys, if we can roll into 2026 next season with Shedeur Sanders having 7 starts under his belt, I'm just saying, we can use those draft picks to get receivers and build the offensive line. We can use free agency. I don't want to use free agency to build the receiver core. Now, we can use free agency to maybe add 1 or 2 receivers that are going to be like a wide receiver 3 or 4 on the team. You do not get you don't get wide receiver 1s in free agency. Wide receiver 1s, the alpha dogs, the stud receivers in the NFL, only come to you via the draft or trade. It's the only 2 ways you're getting one of those guys. It's the only way. All you get in free agency are overpaid wide receiver 3s and previous wide receiver 1s who are now 32, 33 years old. That's free agency, okay? Or I should say the high end of free agency. The rest of free agency for wide receivers is just filling out the depth chart. That's it. So use the draft to get those alpha dog stud receivers. And I want 2 of them. I want 2 of them for Shedeur Sanders next year. Use free agency to build up your line. Use your early 2nd round pick to add to the line. Because I'm on board with two wide receivers in the 1st round. I don't care. Do it. Get the guys. So I'm very excited for what we're going to see over these last 6 games with Shedeur Sanders. I think it's an exciting time. And like I said, hopefully this is not, as far as I saw, Kevin Stefanski did not name him the starter for the remainder of the season, simply just the starter for the 49ers game. Maybe I missed it. Maybe he did say the rest of the season, but either way, there better be no leash. I'm telling you guys, no leash. At no point should the Browns turn back to Dillon Gabriel. If they do, I'm out on Kevin. I mean, I've already kind of am. You guys know that. The only way, this is just a quick side note, the only way I'm okay with rolling with Kevin past this season is if, 1, he commits to Shedeur Sanders as the quarterback. Like I just said, if he rolls back to Dillon Gabriel at any point, I'm done. Out. Fire him on the spot. I know that's harsh, but it's just how I feel. Or number 2, roll with Shedeur Sanders, and then next year bring in a true offensive coordinator with somebody who's been an offensive coordinator successfully somewhere else and implement their offense. I don't want Kevin Stefanski's offensive system anymore. I am done with this. Done. I know the players, the personnel on the offense aren't great, but the offensive system is trash. It's old. It's outdated. They don't modify it. He can't adapt. He can't grow. Get a new offense, and you just be the head coach. Like, I know last year they brought in Ken Dorsey to kind of do that, but there was still too much influence from Kevin Stefanski on the offense. Out. Just hands off of the offense. You just be the head coach. You just be Mike Tomlin. Okay? You don't influence the defense. You don't influence the offense. You bring in other people with good specialties to do those jobs. That's what I would want to see if they stick with Kevin heading into next year. So I wanted to talk about this stat because this was brought to my attention today. And I got a couple voicemails and some messages from the website I'm going to get to from you guys here in a little bit. But first I wanted to talk about QBR off of ESPN. Now, QBR and QB rating. I think people get these things confused pretty often, and that's fine. I totally get it. They are confusing things if you're not in this world doing stats and stuff for the NFL all the time like we are. So QB rating is an NFL stat to rate the quarterback performance any given week or over the course of a season. What is their total quarterback rating? Okay. That stat, and I should have looked this up, but that stat has been around for a long time. They've been tracking quarterback rating for a long time, and that's just kind of a generally used stat. It's on NFL, it's on Pro Football Reference. It's Any place that has quarterback stats will show you what the quarterback rating is. Now, QBR, I know it sounds just like quarterback rating. It seems like it should stand for quarterback rating, but it's not. QBR is different than quarterback rating. QBR, the 3 letters, QBR, is an ESPN proprietary stat. That is only on ESPN. They're the only ones who track that. They created it. They created the formula, everything that goes into calculating a quarterback's QBR for any given game or for the course of a season, and it is 100% busted. And I'm going to talk about it because I've used QBR a ton on this show to talk about quarterback performances in the past, to compare guys, all this kind of stuff, and I'm done. You will never hear me use QBR again in an actual argument. I might point out that ESPN's QBR just to make fun of it in the future, but it will no longer be part of my stat evaluation for quarterbacks because QBR is clearly broken by ESPN, and here's why. Shedeur Sanders on Sunday against the Raiders, 11 for 20, 209 yards, a touchdown, and an interception. He only took 1 sack for 3 yards. A pretty clean game for a rookie's first start. His QBR per ESPN was 8.4. Now, QBR is on a scale of 100. 8.4. To compare that, they gave Geno Smith a 12.7 QBR. He was sacked 10 times for negative 77 yards. And they gave him a higher QBR than Shedeur Sanders. Last night, Monday Night Football, Brock Purdy had a 49.2, almost 50, almost halfway to 100 QBR against the Panthers, and he threw for 193 yards and 3 interceptions. And he had a 49.2 compared to Shedeur's 8.4? Are you kidding? And this is the one that really, this is the one that showed me, these next two, showed me that QBR can no longer be used as a serious stat. JJ freaking McCarthy had a 17.9, over twice the QBR that Shedeur Sanders had. JJ McCarthy, 17.9 against the Packers. You know what his stats were? 87 yards, no touchdowns, 2 picks, and 5 sacks. JJ McCarthy might be the worst quarterback in the NFL right now. His performance on Sunday against the Packers was abysmal. Abysmal. And they gave him 2 times higher QBR than Shedeur Sanders. And this one just ended QBR altogether for me. I went back and looked. The lowest QBR in a start for Dorian Thompson-Robinson was 17.1. DTR's lowest QBR, think about how bad DTR was in every game he played. Terrible. The lowest QBR was 2 times higher than what Shedeur Sanders' QBR was on Sunday. And DTR only threw 1 touchdown. Ever. You can't sit here and sell QBR to me as a serious stat. So I just wanted to make that pronouncement here on the show, that declaration that QBR will no longer be considered for any evaluations whatsoever for quarterbacks moving forward in the future on this show. Because that's a freaking joke. This episode is sponsored by DraftKings Sportsbook. Browns fans, do you know about the 3 T's of Thanksgiving? Turkey for eating, table for gathering, and touchdowns for winning. With DraftKings Sportsbook, an official sports betting partner of the NFL, every touchdown could bring you closer to cashing in before dessert. With DraftKings Sportsbook, all the action's in your hands. First touchdown, anytime TD, live bets, every play, every snap, every game counts. When the games get good, the bets get better. Here's the best part. New customers bet just $5, and if your bet wins, you'll get $200 in bonus bets instantly. So when touchdowns happen, we feast. Download the DraftKings Sportsbook app and use code BROWNS. That's code BROWNS. Bet $5 and get $200 in bonus bets if your bet wins. In partnership with DraftKings, the crown is yours.
Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. In New York, call 877-8-HOPE-NY or text HOPE-NY 467-369. In Connecticut, help is available for problem Gambling. Call 888-789-7777 or visit ccpg.org. Please play responsibly. On behalf of Boot Hill Casino and Resort in Kansas, pass-through of per-wager tax may apply in Illinois. 21 and over. Age and eligibility varies by jurisdiction. Void in Ontario. Restrictions apply. Bet must win to receive bonus bets which expire in 7 days. Minimum odds required. For additional terms and responsible gaming resources, see dkng.co/audio. Limited time offer.
So we'll get into what we can expect for Shedeur Sanders, at home on Sunday against the 49ers. We'll talk about that tomorrow on the preview show. Again, if you want to be in that Discord Dog Pack Live episode, get on stage, actually ask us questions, talk to us, give us your opinions, whatever you want to talk about, you can come up and talk about it. But that's jointhedogs.com. A couple other things I wanted to hit on here before I get to your questions. Per NFL research, the man himself, Myles freaking Garrett, has 18 sacks, which is the most ever by any player through the first 11 games since the NFL began officially tracking sacks as a stat. I mean, he is on such a historic tear. It's ridiculous. Myles Garrett, as long, just and fingers crossed, knock on wood, God forbid, he does not get injured, he is going to obliterate the single season sack record. It's done. It's 22 and a half. That's Michael Strahan and TJ Watt are both tied for 22 and a half sacks in a single season. That's the NFL record. Myles Garrett is just 4.5 sacks away from that. And he's had, what is it, 13 sacks in the last 4 games, I think. He's coming for it. He is coming for it. He is, without a doubt, the defensive player of the year. There's nobody on his level. And I just wanted to take a moment because we talk, and deservedly so, the quarterback position for the Browns, for any team, is just so important. I mean, it really is. Because we got Myles Garrett. We've got the best defensive player in the whole league, and we've only got 3 wins. Like, you cannot, the position that influences wins and losses the most heavily is quarterback. So we dedicate and devote a lot of time to talking about the quarterback. So, yes, this episode is going to highlight Shedeur Sanders being named the starter, highlight what he's able to do, what we saw from him, what we're excited about. We're going to talk and post on social media all the time about Shedeur Sanders and the quarterback position for the Browns because it's so freaking important. But I want to take a moment and just appreciate greatness. We have the best defensive player in the entire league in Cleveland playing for the Browns. And I just want to make sure that we acknowledge that and appreciate what we are watching every week with Myles Garrett, because this might be we might be witnessing the best single season performance by a defensive player ever right now, or, an edge rusher, a pass rusher for sure, because he could be breaking the record this year. What he is doing cannot be understated. And it's something that, whether you're a longtime Browns fan like me or a new Browns fan, which I know a lot of you are, this is something you'll remember the rest of your life. You'll tell your kids, your grandkids, well, I remember Myles Garrett. I remember that season. You might not remember that it was 2025. You might not remember who the quarterback was. You might not remember what the record was. But you're going to remember you watched Myles Garrett destroy the single season sack record. Probably the single best defensive season of all time. First ballot Hall of Famer, played for your team. You got to watch him every week for your team. The team ain't good. The record ain't good. It's been tough to watch overall. But got to appreciate what Myles Garrett is doing this year. It is. And the thing is, it's just not going to last forever. He's 30, 31. He's got probably a few more seasons, high-level seasons in him. But we're at the pinnacle right now. We are at the top of the mountain watching what Myles Garrett can do. So enjoy these last 6 games, watching Myles Garrett, despite what the offense does, the struggles, the lack of talent, all that stuff. Appreciate Myles Garrett and what he's doing. It has been so much fun. Another guy that I think we need to talk about, and I feel bad because I don't know if we even said his name on Sunday night's reaction show because we were so focused on what the defense did with their 10 sacks, which was just 1 sack shy of the single game franchise record for the Browns. Got to figure out how I'm going to award these things. Single game franchise record for the Browns. Most sacks was 11. I forget when or whatever, but I know that was the number. So they had 10 on Sunday. And we talked a lot about Shedeur Sanders, obviously, but the guy that we needed to mention more, Quinshon Judkins, man. Holy crap. Quinshon Judkins missed the first game of the season, had limited action in his first game back in Baltimore in week 2. Despite those things, he is still leading all rookie running backs in rushing yards. Quinshon Judkins has 667 yards on the season and 7 touchdowns. Okay, and the way he scores his touchdown, the rate at which he's scoring, and now with Shedeur Sanders at quarterback and the potential for the offense to get closer to the goal line and maybe score some more points than we have all year, there's a very real possibility that we are watching what is about to be a 1,000-yard, 10-touchdown season, rookie season for Quinshon Judkins. Talk about impressive. You got him at number 1, Ashton Genty, who we just faced, at number 2 with 604 yards and 4 touchdowns. Trevion Henderson for the Patriots, 558 yards and 5 touchdowns. And then Ja'Cory Crosky-Merritt for the Commanders, 498 yards, 4 touchdowns. And then number 5 in the top 5 is Kyle Monangai for the Bears, 461 yards and 4 touchdowns. What's interesting about this is you got Quinshon Judkins, who was a high second-round pick, leading the pack. You've got Ashton Genty, who was a high first-round pick, and he's at number 2. Trevion Henderson, obviously, just 2 picks after Quinshon in the second round. But then number 4 and number 5 on this list, and I think number 6 might have been Cam Scadaboo. So the next guys on this top rushing leaderboard were all late-round picks. Scadaboo, I think, was early 4th, so mid-round. But then Crosky-Merritt and Kyle Monangai were like 6th or 7th-round picks. So it just goes to show that there are elite running backs that you can take early, and then there are very serviceable running backs that if you get them in the right system, behind the right offensive line, can really put up numbers. And you can get those guys later in the draft. But I'm just so excited to see Quinshon Judkins at the top of this leaderboard. And to kind of put what he's doing in perspective now, Nick Chubb did not start or get heavy utilization the entire season his rookie year. So these numbers are not apples to apples comparison. But Nick Chubb as a rookie, just 4 yards shy of 1,000 yards. He had 996 yards and he had 8 touchdowns. So again, that was in just 9 games started. He didn't really get a whole lot of run before they got rid of Carlos Hyde that year because Hugh Jackson wouldn't use him. So again, comparing Quinshon's rookie year to Nick Chubb's is not fair. I acknowledge that. It's not apples to apples. But just to put it in perspective, Nick Chubb is a rookie, 996 yards, 8 touchdowns. Quinshon Judkins already 667 and 7. So a couple more touchdowns and he's past what Nick Chubb did as a rookie. And as long as he doesn't get hurt, all this stuff is barring injury, of course. But he should surpass the 1,000-yard mark as a rookie for sure. Just super impressive. The young guys on this team have been the bright spot this season. And, when considering the draft class, if Andrew Berry hit on 6 out of these 7 picks, and that would be with Shedeur Sanders being the guy. I've said a lot of bad things about Andrew Berry this year, but I would have to just back off a little bit with that because while the offense that he has built here in the last couple of years is what we're witnessing now, it's terrible, it's putrid. The foundation to build this thing back up, I will give it to him, is in place. Now, the offensive line is where they're lacking. They don't have any future whatsoever built currently at the offensive line positions, but hopefully they can get that figured out, like I said, in the draft and free agency. But if you take 2 wide receivers in the first round next year, so you got 2 first-round wide receivers, say it's Carnell Tate and Mekhi Lemon, or Jordan Tyson and Chris Bell, or any of the combination of these 2 guys, or these wide receivers. You add those two to an offense that has Quinshon Judkins, Dylan Sampson, Harold Fannin Jr., Isaiah Bond. We'll see if they re-sign David Njoku. Jerry Jeudy's your wide receiver 3. 4, maybe, if Isaiah Bond can leap him. I don't know. Cedric Tillman's still around. Now, all of a sudden, Shedeur Sanders has some stuff to work with. And I think that that's worth doing, in my opinion. I know it's only been one start for Shedeur, but I think it's worth rolling with him next year and not worrying so much about trying to take another quarterback with a first-round pick. Okay, let's jump into some of your guys' feedback here, some of your questions and things. You know what? I'm going to hit the voicemail first. So we got a voicemail here. This one's from Kurt.
Hey guys, Kurt from Jersey. I just want to say, how much different does it feel that when you get a quarterback that has just a shred of talent, gives you that hope? It just feels so different. I feel differently about the offense. Like Isaiah Bond, I didn't think much of him. Now I'm like, wow, maybe we got something there. Fanning, I'm like, it wasn't showing me too much, but now I'm like, I have hope. Like, what is this hope? I'm a Browns fan. I have hope for the future. It's weird. It's really, really weird. But I'll say, if Dillon Gabriel starts another game for this team ever, I would expect the next day Stefanski to be fired, because you can't go back. There's no going back. We have hope. We have signs of talent, of a future in Shedeur. And look, I'll be the first one to tell you, I was not a big proponent of either one of these quarterbacks playing this season, but man, Shedeur's giving me hope. Go Browns. Let's go.
Yes, Kurt, that is exactly what you're feeling. Again, this goes back to if you're a longtime Browns fan or you're a new Browns fan, whatever it is, that is what this feeling is. It's hope. It's hope. It's not unrealistic expectations, or at least not for me, and hopefully not for a lot of you guys out there, thinking he's going to come in here and we're going to win out and make the playoffs. I see all the posts online. Oh, the Browns are only 3 games back in the division. Guys, just stop. We ain't making the playoffs. But listen, I want to see competitive football, and Shedeur Sanders gives you an opportunity for that. And, the Isaiah Bond, yes, the first part of the season here, we were going, man, this looks like another busted wide receiver, somebody who came in here and can't do anything. With an actual quarterback who's willing to see, the thing is, Isaiah Bond's skill set, what he can do well, what he can offer your offense, did not sync up or match with what Dillon Gabriel's capabilities were. Dillon Gabriel cannot throw the ball downfield. Okay, the Browns had, 3 plays over 20 yards? Actually, you know what? Hang on. I wanted to make sure I looked up the numbers real quick so I had it right. So with Dillon Gabriel, the number of plays that the Browns had in 5.5 games with Dillon Gabriel, how many plays did the Browns have that were over 30 yards? 30-yard plays. Goose egg, 0. How many plays in one start? Okay, just on Sunday, did the Browns have over 30 yards? 3. 3 of them. Okay, what Shedeur Sanders can do is any quarterback, you can get the ball to guys around the line of scrimmage. Okay, fine. You can throw a screen. You can throw a short pass. Can you stretch the field? Can you throw the ball down the field with accuracy to hit players in stride, to lead guys open deep? Because throwing the ball deep is tough. That's why you see quarterback completion percentages, in the stat categories of like 20 plus yards, 50% or less. 50% or less, because throwing the ball down the field, there's just there's a lot more variation when you're going deep. And Isaiah Bond's specialty is getting open and beating guys deep, and we saw that Sunday. He did it, and we finally hit him on a deep pass, 52 yards. And it was because Shedeur Sanders is willing to look downfield, willing to throw downfield, capable of throwing downfield, and capable of executing the play. So that was very exciting to see. Yes, Kurt, that is what we are feeling right now. It is hope. And he said exactly what I already said once this episode. If you go back to Dillon Gabriel at any point, done. Fire Kevin on the spot, because this is a joke. As long as Shedeur Sanders is healthy and there's no back tightness or oblique strain or shoulder soreness or whatever the hell, he better be the starting quarterback. No leash. I don't want Shedeur looking over his shoulder. I don't want him worrying about anything. And here's another thing I want to talk about before I get into some of these messages from you guys. I forgot about this. I was going to do this at the top of the show. There's a clip going around social media, you've probably seen it, of Shedeur Sanders after the game. It's kind of gone viral. I'm sure you've seen it or at least heard the quote. He said something along the lines of, what you saw here was on 1 week of practice. Imagine what I could do with an entire offseason. It would be dangerous. Summarizing, but that's pretty much what he said. And a lot of people have taken some issue with that and said, man, this kid doesn't show any humility. He's very cocky. He's very arrogant. Like Rex Ryan was saying, whenever you win a game, you need to use the words we and us. And when you lose, then you need to use the words I and me. Okay, Rex. Okay, everybody out there complaining about this video clip. That video clip from CBS was the tail end of a much longer interview with him after the game. If you have not seen the entire interview, post-game interview with Shedeur Sanders, you need to go find it. I don't think I actually shared it from our Twitter, and I'm going to go do that. You need to go watch the entire... I would play it on here for you guys, but there's like copyright stuff that we get hit with sometimes. I don't even know how this stuff works half the time. But I will just summarize what happened. So after the game, he was, pulled aside by the sideline reporter to hey, Shedeur, how's it feel to come out here and win your first start and all that kind of stuff? And the first thing he said, the first thing he did in that interview was praise God. It's the first thing he did. Gave all the glory, all the praise to God. And he did that after her first question. Then she asked him something else, and he did it again. Praise God, glory to God. He said, this ain't me, this is God's work on display. He said that the whole team earlier in the week got together in the locker room and had like a long, deep discussion about God and everybody's purpose just in life and on the football field and on the team and things like that. There was such a spiritual awareness and connection in what he was saying. And if you got to watch the whole clip because he elaborates so much on how, every opportunity that he has is given to him by God. It's not him doing it. He's just trying to take advantage of what God gives him, and how, not everybody's, in a great situation in life. You just need to have faith and lean on God. I mean, the whole interview was very impressive because he's like a 23-year-old young guy, celebrity, has all the money in the world. And his down-to-earth responses were great. And then like in the middle part of that interview, he was talking about how wonderful it was to have his mom and his dad and his brother, and, how football is such an important thing for the family. It was a really good interview. And then at the very end, is whenever I forget exactly how she led into it, but then he said, hey, this was off 1 week of practice. Just wait until imagine if I had a whole off season to prep and develop and get ready. And that's the part that goes viral, and people are saying, oh, he's not very humble or all this and that. Man, you watch that whole interview from him, everything he said in there, it's a completely different perspective, a completely different takeaway. He is super humble. He's super faithful, and he's very vocal about it. And I appreciated everything he had to say. Go watch it. I'll share it on our socials so you guys can see it too. All right, message from Kane on the website. He says, just a quick one in addition to Myles Garrett's reaction on the sideline. And that was when Shedeur made that 52-yard throw to Bond. What do you guys make of his post-match interview? And Kane calls it a match because he's from overseas in Ireland, right? You're in Ireland, I think, Kane. Sorry if I'm getting that wrong. But he says Myles seems to be Team Shedeur. Over here in the States, we call it a post-game interview, not a match. We don't play football over here. We play soccer. And we watch football. I'm just messing with you. I'm just messing. Kane's a good guy. So what did we think of Myles Garrett's post-match interview? Let me read it for you guys. So Myles was asked about that throw down the field to Isaiah Bond, and he said, he put it up, and I'm just like, oh, God, who was he even throwing it to? I wasn't even looking down there to see, and I'm just looking. I'm like, oh, God, please. And he drops it in the bucket, and he reaches out. I'm like, please just don't fumble. He said, I'm just like, wow, there's not many guys in the league that can make that throw. That was a hell of a throw. And then he later added, I hope Shedeur, can continue to grow and develop from making plays like that. So it was funny if you actually watched the video. Myles was like, I saw the ball go up and I was like, oh, Lord, who is he throwing it to? Because when's the last time any Browns on the sideline, any Browns players, any Browns fans have seen a deep throw attempt from a Browns quarterback? And when is the last time we saw a deep pass attempt actually completed successfully to one of our guys? It's been a long frickin' time. So his reaction to the pass was pretty good. Myles Garrett, And the thing is, everything's great and fun when you're winning. It's all fun when you're winning. And you saw these guys have a fun time in Vegas on Sunday. Okay, another message from the website. Oh, by the way, I just want to remind everybody, if you can go to thedogspodcast.com, excuse me, just had breakfast, and you can go to thedogspodcast.com and leave a voicemail. That's how you get your voicemails on the show. Or if you don't want to leave a voicemail, if you don't like the sound of your own voice or you feel like you sound stupid, whatever. Nobody sounds stupid. Don't ever worry about that. We love hearing from all you guys. But some people are just more shy. You can just type a message. There's a spot right next to the voicemail box where you can just enter in a message, a question, comment, whatever you want to do, and send it to us. Come straight to my email. And I put it on the show. So that's how these guys got on the show. So this one's from Jacob. He says, watching the game, seeing Sanders be calm in the pocket and throwing it 53 yards in the air. Also, Mason Graham giving Genty a hit stick was the best thing since sliced bread. Love the podcast. Thanks, Jacob. We love your support and we love you interacting with the show. Yes. So he must have sent this during the game. Absolutely. We've talked about that pass was just a highlight for sure. For sure from Shedeur. And then Mason Graham, I talked about that on Sunday night. Man, when Genty was getting stood up and he came over and just ended that run in such a brutal, forceful way. Clean hit. Good, clean football hit. Shoulder to the shoulder, just knocked Genty right down. That was number 5, knocking the snot out of number, what was Genty, 8? 7, 6, something like that. I think he was number 6, something like that. Either way. Yeah, Mason Graham's having a hell of a month and a half. Like, things started a little rocky for the rookie, the top 5 pick. Saw some signs early in the season. Saw some things I was like, oh man, I wish he was a little better than what he's showing. Recently, it has started to click for this kid, and I think that the Browns made the right choice. I'm not going to declare it like, man, we hit that number 5 pick, we nailed it, because we're only a few, really, if you think about the grand scheme of things, we're only a few games into this kid's career. So let's see how it goes, because we thought we had something with Jed Wills too after his rookie season. Saw how that went. But I've got much more faith and hope for Mason Graham. This episode is sponsored by Omaha Steaks. Browns fans, you know Christmas comes at you fast as soon as Thanksgiving is over, and that's why I simplify my gift-giving process with Omaha Steaks. And whether you're sending an unforgettable gift or just treating yourself to holiday perfection, Omaha Steaks delivers the world's best steak experience. I get everybody in my family Omaha Steak gift packages every single Christmas, and they love it. They've come to expect it, so now I just have to continue to deliver every year. Because they've got gift packages for whatever people want. They've got steak and burgers. They got brats and hot dogs. They've got chicken and pork chops. They've got seafood, appetizers, whatever you're looking for the special people in your life, Omaha Steaks has the answer. So save big on unforgettable gifts with Omaha Steaks. Visit omahasteaks.com for 50% off site-wide and get an extra 20% off select favorites during their cyber sale. And for an extra $35 off that, use promo code BARK, B-A-R-K, at checkout. That's omahasteaks.com. Promo code BARK at checkout. Terms apply. See site for details. All right, next, this one is another message from the website from Benji. Benji says, Shedeur Sanders breaks the Browns' rookie quarterback losing streak for a rookie's first start. If you guys remember, Browns quarterbacks. And the thing is, they weren't all rookies. There were, I think Brady Quinn didn't get his first start until his second season in the NFL, if I remember correctly. But Browns quarterbacks in their first career NFL start since 1995, 0-17. 17 opportunities for a Browns quarterback to lead his team to victory in his first career start, and none of them succeeded. None of them. Shedeur Sanders, the only one. Okay, so then he goes on and he says, he showed to me that he can be the guy with time and reps. If he is not the starter for the rest of the year, here's another one. Then Kevin Stefanski needs to be fired as soon as he names Gabriel as the starter. I agree, Benji. I agree, Kurt. You guys are right on the money with this. He says, Browns get the win. Go Browns. Another streak that Shedeur Sanders ended was 13 straight road games that the Browns lost. The last time the Browns won a game on the road was week 2 of 2024 down in Jacksonville, where they barely edged out the Jaguars last year. to get that road win. It was, what was that? The end of that score, 19-16 or something. It wasn't great. It wasn't a great game for the Browns, but they got the win on the road, and they have proceeded to lose 13 straight games on the road until Sunday when they beat the Raiders in Vegas. So another losing streak ended. It was a great day for Browns fans. Again, a lot of people will say, well, it was just the Raiders. Why are you guys getting so hyped? Because we're just the Browns. Blake said that on Sunday night. We're 2-8. They're 2-8. We suck. They suck. It's a big deal. It's a big deal whenever you don't win games, whenever you've lost 13 straight in a row on the road and you get a win. We played the Jets on the road and added to that road losing streak with the Jets, okay? Beating anybody on the road for the Browns is a big deal. So don't let anybody tell you guys it's not a big deal that the Browns beat the Raiders. It's a big freaking deal. Be happy about it. Be excited. This is time. This season has been a season of doom and gloom and negativity. On these Tuesday episodes, I come in here and tell you how bad the offense was, how bad Dillon Gabriel sucks. We need to move on, blah, 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 fire Kevin. A different tone today because we won. Because we won and we have hope. To go back to Kurt's voicemail, we have hope. It's a different day. It's a different day. Things change fast in the NFL. Remember that. Okay. Last message from the website. This is from Matt. He says, hey, Dog Pat, Mac Dawes here. It's the end of the first quarter, and I've seen enough. I did my video at halftime, Matt. I said the same thing. He says, Sanders looks decent, showing enough for us to not draft a quarterback next year. Let's get him some wide receiver and O-line help to see what he can do next season. But Kevin needs to be gone. Twice he takes Sanders out of the game to score a touchdown. Get out of here. He hates Sanders. It's obvious. Too many coincidences. Things like not getting any reps since April. That draft video where he looked super annoyed they got Sanders, not putting Sanders at backup when Dillon started. It took them trading Joe to put Sanders at backup and still no first-team reps. Get Kevin out of here. Let's go Browns. Okay, Matt. There's a lot of stuff in there that I've said they had to, Andrew Berry had to trade Joe Flacco away to get Shedeur Sanders moved up the depth chart. I firmly believe that. Because Kevin wasn't going to do it. It was Dillon Gabriel is clearly ready to be the starter. We're going to bench Joe Flacco, but we're going to keep Joe Flacco as the backup. Well, then the games played out. It's like, you really thought Dillon Gabriel was ready to start games? He looks terrible. Like, he looks bad. Very, very bad. So Andrew Berry said, okay, well, I'm just going to ship Joe Flacco out of here. Now you got to make Shedeur QB2. And I'm pretty sure there was definitely a conversation had after that Raiders game on Sunday where it was, hey, look, I know you want to go back to Dillon. I know you don't want Dillon to lose his job because of injury. I know Dillon was your pick. He was your guy. We're done. We're done. And Kevin said, fine, okay. Shedeur's the starter. What else did you say in here, Matt? Sorry, I get a little bit sidetracked on my own rants. Okay, so taking Shedeur Sanders out of the game on the goal line to run the Wildcat. Now, if that was the first time they'd ever done that, I might give you a little bit here on that. That doesn't bother me at all because they did it in the Miami game with Dillon Gabriel quarterback. They took Gabriel out. They did it in another game too. When was it? I don't know. I don't think it was Minnesota. I forget. There was another game. I know they did it in the Miami game. They take the quarterback out and they put Quinshon Judkins in at the goal line for the Wildcat and he just punches it in. Like, nobody stopped that play yet. So we need to score touchdowns. You got a rookie quarterback out there who could hand it off. We see what happens when the Browns hand off to a run. A lot of times it's stuffed because the scheme and the blocking is not good for the running game. The direct snap Wildcat on the goal line, so far, unless I'm missing a play, has worked every time we've run it. I don't think it's ever been stopped. So, I mean, it's kind of like saying, oh, well, they're screwing Saquon Barkley out of touchdowns in Philly because they're just running the tush push with Hurts. No, they're not. Nobody can stop that play. Like, if it works, run it. It's kind of how I am with the Wildcat. Yeah, I'd like to see Shedeur get, the opportunity to throw a touchdown pass, but at the same time, I just want to score a touchdown. I want to win the freaking game. And if nobody can stop the Wildcat with Quinshon Judkins, direct snap, keep running it. I don't know. That's how I feel about that one. I don't think that's any indication that they're trying to screw Shedeur, because again, they did it with Dillon. I don't know that he hates Shedeur Sanders. I think that Kevin clearly prefers Dillon Gabriel. That has been, I don't think you can really argue that. He preferred him in the draft. He preferred him in camp. He preferred him this season. Like, it's just, that's much as obvious. You can point to any factual thing that happened and say, yes, these are all true. But I think there's no denying Shedeur Sanders is clearly better than Dillon Gabriel. And I do agree with you, and I do agree with Kurt. If we go back to Dillon at any point over Shedeur, meaning benching Shedeur or pulling him, oh man, they pull him out of a game and put Dillon in. Anything that's not injury related that gets Dillon on the field is a fireable offense on the spot, in my opinion. And I bet Kevin knows that. I bet Kevin knows that from the Andrew Berry side of things. All right, well, that pretty much wraps up everything I wanted to dive into today on the Tuesday episode of the show. Again, a much more positive episode today because, like you guys have talked about, and like I've been saying the whole time, we have an opportunity here in front of us. We have hope. We have a quarterback on the field who looks like he can actually play quarterback in the NFL. Again, wherever your expectations are for Shedeur Sanders, make sure you're being realistic. He is a rookie. He is a rookie. I've watched Cam Ward. I've watched J.J. McCarthy, who's essentially a rookie this year. I've watched Tyler Shuck. I like last year. I watched Caleb Williams struggle last year. People were calling for Tyson Bagent, the backup quarterback in Chicago, to be the starter at some point this year because they thought Caleb Williams was such a bust. I watched Bo Nix look terrible the first month of his rookie season. I watched Michael Penix struggle a lot this season, which was essentially his first season starting. And then there were other games where Michael Penix looked good before the injury. So quarterback is such a difficult position to play in the NFL. It's one of the most difficult positions to play in all of sports. And the transition from college and what they do in college and how simplified things are for quarterbacks in college, because you can simplify things in college. You can make it easier for these guys to be successful for your team. Because again, as a college coach, your priority is not making sure that your quarterback is prepped and ready for the NFL. Your priority is winning games for your team, for your school, first and foremost. So the transition is difficult. There's nobody holding your hand in the NFL. If you practice, whatever you're doing in your off time, which there's so much more off time in the NFL, so much more personal time, that's up to you, man. That's how hard you want to work or how hard you don't want to work. And by all accounts, Shedeur Sanders is working hard. And this is the last thing I want to talk about before I wrap this thing up. I just, again, want to get this off my chest a little bit too. I think as Browns fans, we need to understand that there is more upside to Shedeur Sanders being the guy for the Browns than any other quarterback we've ever tried to do this with. And here's why, okay? First of all, Shedeur Sanders was touted as a first-round talent. I'm going to keep saying that until I'm blue in the face, okay? Every draft analyst, minus maybe one or two, had him as a first-round talent. The vast majority of analysts had him as the QB2 behind Cam Ward. And there were, 4 quarterbacks taken between Ward and him. Okay? He was clearly more talented based on a tape evaluation than all those other guys. And all the evaluations that I came away with doing the film work and the other guys on the show that had us wanting to take Shedeur Sanders at 2 overall, that didn't change just because he went in the 5th round. What we saw on tape still existed. Like, that didn't just magically go away or change. It all still existed. He is on a rookie contract, and you see what NFL teams are able to do when they've got their quarterback on a rookie deal. You can invest heavily in other positions, other premium positions, to make a good football team around that quarterback. And not only is Shedeur Sanders on a rookie contract, he is on a 5th round rookie contract. That is so much lower than a first-round rookie contract. It's ridiculous. So what if the Browns can find, or if Shedeur Sanders can prove to be the guy for the Browns, that offsets every bad outcome from the Deshaun Watson mistake. All of it. You didn't have to invest a first round or multiple first round picks to go get your quarterback. You used a fifth. You don't have to worry about eating up $46 million of cap space every year to a quarterback that's not playing. You're on a fifth round contract. It's like $1 million or something. I don't even know what the annual average is. It's low. It's low. Think what the 49ers were able to do for years when they had Brock Purdy on a 7th round contract. That's essentially the same thing as far as the cap is concerned with Shedeur Sanders on a 5th round contract. And the other major benefit to Shedeur Sanders being the guy for the Browns, and this is why as Browns fans, we should be hoping for this kid to be the answer, not rooting against him, hoping that he can be the guy. Because when it comes, say he is the guy, say he proves he can be the long-term franchise quarterback for the Browns. When contract time comes around, it could get interesting because Shedeur Sanders is already super rich. Super rich. He's got all the money in the world. He doesn't need money. That's why he doesn't care about his 5th round rookie contract numbers. He is playing football because he loves the game. That is key. That is big because we've seen guys in the NFL not necessarily playing football because they love it first and foremost. Now, everybody playing football at the NFL level obviously has a certain level of love for the game. I get that. But for that to be your driving factor, that's not every guy. A lot of the guys are there to get their paycheck, provide for the families. It's a job. Totally get it. I understand. That's all fine. Shedeur Sanders is doing this because he loves the game and because he wants to be great. To me, that is something I can get behind. When you're doing something because you're saying money's not an issue, not worried about the money, I would do this for free. If what you're doing for your job, me on this podcast, if what you're doing for this job is something you would do for free, then you're living life. And you're really going to invest heavily into what you're doing because you love it. And that's what I'm excited about with Shedeur Sanders. He is not doing this to get a paycheck. He is not doing this for any other reason other than he wants to be great and because he loves what he's doing. Those are great things. Those are all great things, and I'm very excited to see how this goes again. It could go really bad on Sunday. I don't know. We'll talk about it tomorrow on the preview show, 5 p.m. Eastern, Dogpack Discord live. Jointhedogs.com if you want to get in there. We'll see how it goes. He might flop. But the thing is, you cannot just move. You cannot play bouncing back and forth with the quarterbacks. It is now Shedeur Sanders for the next 6, no matter what. No matter how it looks, let him take his lumps. They're going to happen. They're going to come. He's going to take a 20-yard loss on a sack in one of these games. It's going to happen. He's going to throw a pick 6. I guarantee he throws a pick 6 at some point over one of these next few games. It's going to happen. He's also going to throw some touchdowns. He's also going to make some nice plays that make Browns fans go, wow, haven't seen that in a while. So just stay patient, temper your expectations, understand he's a rookie, and we are now in the let's learn, let's develop, and let's find out phase of this thing. And next year's whenever we can start having expectations, because right now it's just all about getting acclimated at the NFL level. And again, after no first-team reps, after really not being prioritized whatsoever, all the way up until just last week, the kid looked pretty damn good in my opinion. So hang with us. Get ready for Thanksgiving. Again, tomorrow night, 5 p.m. Eastern, we will do the preview show. That'll be out for everybody not in the dog pack afterwards, so tomorrow evening. And then we will be MIA until Sunday night after the game when we recap whatever happens at home in Cleveland against the 49ers. So appreciate you guys tuning in, and I will see you guys tomorrow on the preview episode.
Thanks for listening to another episode of the Dogs Podcast. Make sure you subscribe on YouTube and follow us on Twitter at The Dogs Podcast. Get your thoughts on the show at thedogspodcast.com.
This episode is sponsored by Baden Sports. Browns fans, I know Thanksgiving is the next thing on the list, but if you're in my house, we have had Christmas decorated all over the place since November 1st. That's right. It is coming up very quickly, Christmas time. And the best thing you can do is get ahead of your gift giving list and go to badensports.com/dogs, DAWGS, and check out everything they have to offer and use promo code DOGS to get 10% off your entire order. You could find some really nice Christmas gifts for the athletes in your life. Obviously, baseball season would be right around the corner in the spring. They've got training balls, they've got regular game baseballs, bats, baseball gloves, all sorts of basketballs and other gear, pumps, ball bags, gym bags, things like that for your basketball players. And then the gifts that I really like to give family members and people like that would be the backyard games. Get those for Christmas gifts because then they can hold on to those and break them out when the weather gets nice. And it's like that Christmas gift that didn't get used right away at Christmas, and they get to experience that joy again later in the year. Badminton, outdoor volleyball, bocce, horseshoes, kickball. They've got a knockout game set. And of course, pickleball, which I know I've been saying on here I need to learn how to play. I haven't yet, but I do plan to learn at some point, and I will be getting my first pickleball set from Baden Sports. So head over to badensports.com/dogs and get 10% off your entire order with promo code DOGS, DAWGS, when you check out. That's Baden Sports, BADEN sports.com/dogs.